Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I have yet another movie review. This movie is a horror film from Sweden. This is spoken in the English language, released in the year 2015, directed by Sunny Laguna and Tommy Wickland, and this film is called We Are Monsters. So We Are Monsters is set in the United States. You've got this woman who's flown in from Australia. She's very successful in her career. She meets up with one of her bosses. The meeting goes very well, and then on the way home she catches a taxi. She doesn't realise that the taxi is driven by a psychotic woman who eventually knocks her out, and she wakes up in the house of two psychopaths. So this house is a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and this woman is systematically raped, humiliated, tortured, and basically her will for living is non-existent. So she's given up until she gets an opportunity to escape, and not only escape, but exact her revenge. So the tables are turned, and who comes out of this painful ordeal in one piece is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on We Are Monsters. I was very intrigued to see this film because number one, Tommy Wickland and Sunny Laguna were responsible for a Swedish horror film called Wither. Wither was a homage to Evil Dead. I thought the gore effects were fantastic. It was an incredibly entertaining film, and it was actually very well shot. So it actually felt like these directors really knew what they're doing behind the camera. So when I come to We Are Monsters, the fact that they are directing it was already an interest point for me, but also the fact that this is billed as the most extreme horror film to come out of Scandinavia to date. So for that reason, I really wanted to see, because if they're upping the gore effects from Wither, I thought I was really in for a treat. And the movie really does promise an extreme horror story, and it really delivers that promise, but unfortunately that's the only thing it really delivers. And at the end of the day, you feel that this is a very generic horror film that is also very, very lazy in what it does, and I thought it was too ambitious in other aspects. So to start off with, it is very well made. The cinematography is very good. It has the same feeling of Wither and Evil Dead in that it's set in a cabin, and that help is not around for many, many miles. So I thought the actual setting and the cinematography, it captures a very dirty atmosphere. You've got these very dirty villains, and you can actually feel the hellish torture that this woman is going through. So I thought visually it really does capture you, and it actually feels like a lower budget movie that is made of a higher sort of value. So I really liked the main villain as well. I thought the main villain had a lot of complexity to him. You felt that, this guy is a lot more than meets the eye. He's doing these horrible things, but why is he doing these horrible things? Because on the other hand, he has a wife and a kid, and so you feel that he is really struggling with his inner demons, and there are some scenes where you think that he wants to kill himself. So you've got a lot of complexity to that character, but the complexity is never unraveled. The complexity has never gone into. It's just giving you a hint that this guy is reluctant in what he's doing, and that he might be feeling a lot of pain, but you never really find out what's going on. So I think the attention on the extremity of the film takes center stage, and as a result everything else really does crumble. So apart from the great cinematography, there are some great gore effects. As I said, it does deliver its promise of an extreme horror film. You've got practical effects, some very cringe-worthy moments, and I thought the violence was very well shot, very graphic and very in your face. So if you are a gorehound, you're going to get something out of We Are Monsters, but unfortunately they are the only aspects of the film that work. I thought this was a very, very lazy film. It had next to no story, just about a woman who was captured and she just gets revenge. And so if you are a fan of rape revenge films, unfortunately there are a lot of movies out there that do it a lot better, because there's more complexity and there's more depth to the situation than in We Are Monsters. So I actually thought that these directors really took the extreme nature, and they thought that the extreme nature alone would be enough to keep a film floating, but unfortunately it doesn't. So my biggest problem with the movie is that it is a Swedish film. It is actually shot in Sweden, and it has Swedish actors, but they're trying to pass the film off as being American. So it's set in the United States, and these characters are supposed to be American. But because their accents are so forced and so fake, you are taken out of the situation completely, and it actually becomes a farce, because you're frustrated to think that these directors thought it would be a good idea to try and fool the audience, to try and say to them, this is set in the United States, these are American actors. But anyone with ears and anyone with eyes will be able to tell that this is not set in the United States, and these aren't American actors, these aren't American, these aren't American accents. So if you're going to set a film in the United States, shoot it in the United States, and if you're going to have American characters, have American actors, because when you have these terrible accents, the acting suffers as a result. I thought the acting was absolutely woeful. The lines are really forced, and it's down to the fact that they're not speaking in their native language. If it was in the native language, it could have been a lot better, but because it's not, you feel that the acting is absolutely deplorable. You feel that these actors aren't comfortable in what they're doing. And so, apart from the fact that the accents are terrible, they really don't have anything to work with in the script. I thought the script was woeful. There were some scenes that were done in a way where I was cringing. I thought it was just absolutely terrible. And so I was very disappointed by what I got with We Are Monsters, because I thought it was an incredibly lazy experience. It was an experience that basically had absolutely nothing going for it. This complex villain, there was a promise of going into more depth of this villain, but it's never gone into it in a satisfactory way. You think that, okay, this guy does have inner demons, but what are they? You feel that the director is trying to tell you that this guy is reluctant in what he's doing, but it never tells you why. It never gives you an insight into an interesting character. And so you felt that that was definitely a missed opportunity. So it is definitely a case of being an extreme film just for the sake of shocking an audience. And there was a recipe for success in this film, but it's never gone into, because it just feels like it was billing itself on the extremity alone, and that was going to be enough. But unfortunately, everything around it crumbles to be really a film that, although it is very extreme, is definitely one that I would say pass up on. So there was nothing really to like about the movie. If technically it was well done, yeah, there are some very extreme moments of rape and torture and everything you have seen in films such as I Spit in Your Grave. But unfortunately for this film, I Spit in Your Grave, it does it a lot better, because there is something to it more than just a film that is going to hit you with shocking material. So overall, for We Are Monsters, I thought this was definitely a missed opportunity. You know, it is extreme, it does deliver that promise, but as a film, I thought this was woeful. So overall, for We Are Monsters, I'm only going to give this film half a star. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.